Hello, welcome back to another video. This is day 28 of 30 days of JavaScript and let's go. Event emitter. Please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. Yes. Design an event emitter class. Okay, this is from React and Node and all front end. This interface is similar but with some differences to the one found in Node.js, yes, or the event target interface of the DOM, yes. I remembered set on click listener and all those things came to my mind right now. The event emitter should allow for subscribing to events and emitting them. Okay, basically we have to create our own event emitter. Great, nice. It's really interesting. Let's see. This method takes in two arguments of an event, a string, which will be like in content we use on click listener, right? So set on click listener, and we use as the event name, right? I'm telling set on click listener from the Android part of it, but click event is an event that we use that name or move or hover, all those things, right? So that's event name. And with a callback function, the callback function will later be called when the event is emitted. Okay. An event should be able to have multiple listeners. Okay. Each event, e- click can have multiple listeners to it. Okay. Each should be called in order in which they were subscribed. Okay. An array of results should be returned. You can assume no callbacks passed to subscribe are referentially identical. That means they are all unique basically. The subscribe method should also return an object with an unsubscribe method. Okay, they have to return an unsubscribe method also that enables the user to, this will be used to unsubscribe the event basically. Emit, okay, emit. This method takes in two arguments, event name and args. If there are no callbacks, subscribe to the given event, return an empty array. Let's do that. Okay, but I cannot do that right now. Otherwise, return an array. Okay, so this is what I think it should work like. We will create a map. Okay, let me show it to you like this. We'll create a map in which we'll have keys like click, which will have array of various listeners or yeah, various callbacks. Okay, and we'll have various other keys also. Whenever a new callback comes in for this particular key, we'll add that to callback. And if there is no new key, for example, mouse hover comes in as an event, right? There is no key for that. In that case, we'll create an empty array first and then add our callback to it. Okay. Emit is getting called for particular event. We can go to that event, get all the array items for that event, and we can call these callbacks with these arguments that we have and return the result. Okay, let's see, let's try. But the main point here is that the object that I created earlier will get used in subscribe because using subscribe we are creating that object, and in emit also because using that we are calling all the callback functions, right? So we will have to use constructor, basically a global object here, right? This dot events equals to object. Let's do that. Now we'll keep on adding events to this. So I know I just have to check the key first. So let value equals to this dot events event name. Okay, if this value, this is the basic code that we have been doing till now. I've told you multiple times, if it is a hash map or an object, we have to follow these 5 to 6 lines again and again. I will show it to you. We'll first check if the value is there. If it is there, then we will let, actually let's make it simple. If it is not there, in that case what we will do is we'll create it but with an empty array. Okay, now at this point I can call this again. Let callback array equals to this. So this will give us the entire callback array. Either it will be empty or it will already have some values which it will get, right? Maybe we can, yeah. If there is no key available, then create a key with empty array. Just a minute. There's too much dust because of which my allergies are acting up. Okay, so we got the callback array. Now let's add to it. At this point, obviously it is empty because we haven't added something. So dot push, and I'll push this callback. So sorry. So at this point, our map is ready. It will have all the event and associated with all the array of callbacks with it. Okay, now what do we have to do? We have to implement unsubscribe also. So this method takes in two arguments. Okay, that has been done. The subscribe method should return an object with an unsubscribe method that enables the user to unsubscribe when it is called. Let's see how unsubscribe is getting called. Unsubscribe, we are returning nothing here, so we don't need to return anything, but we have to unsubscribe. That means we have to unsubscribe means we don't want that callback anymore. So we just have to identify that callback and remove it, right? So in this case, subscribe for this particular key, for this particular callback, we want to unsubscribe. So we'll just have to find out using this key, we will have to get all the elements, and using this, we will have to find out the position of that this callback in this callback will get added to the array, right? So we just have to identify that item in the array and remove it. So let's do that. We have all the array here. Dot index of, we just have to identify the index of whatever callback we have. Let position equals to this. Now, if this position is true, which means it is greater than or equals to 0, okay, in that case we have to remove it. So how do we remove it? I think we have to use a splice. There is no remove item from array in JS. Okay, remove is there? No, yeah, we have to use a splice. So let's use this on our array, which is callback array dot splice index dot one. Splice means it will cut that particular portion. So it will start from that position and cut one item from it. Okay. And whatever that one item got cut, we don't want to return it. So there's nothing. It just got cut. That means we are unsubscribed. Unsubscribed is a fancy way of saying that we want to remove that particular callback. We don't want it anymore. Okay. Now, whenever we are calling emit, okay, emit is returning an empty array, or what else does it return? Or it is returning the arguments, basically calling the function for this particular type of event. So again, we will have to use this. Now, let me use this also same. If events doesn't have this key, okay, if it is empty, we'll return empty array as they have mentioned. Otherwise, we'll get the callback array. For this callback array, for let callback off or in, off, I think, callback array. We got the callback. Now what do we have to do? We have to, I think, execute this with the arguments. So this is a function which we have to execute with the arguments that we have. Okay. And whatever result we are getting, we have to store it somewhere in an array. Result array will be an empty array. So we will have to return this dot push. Technically, this problem becomes a bit complicated just because of the words like subscribe, unsubscribe, listener, callback, those kind of things. Otherwise, it's a very straightforward problem. There's nothing. Okay, constructor in J. I think I can use it. Okay, yes, all of these pass. So if you look at this problem at a very core level. The point is there is a key, there can be any value associated with it. Okay. Now what we have to do is in this particular method, subscribe method, we are getting that key and the value, and that value needs to be added to an array. Okay, for that particular key. So the map was created according to that. Okay, we created that map, but along with this, we are returning a delete function. Okay, where if you use dot delete, we want to delete the item that we added to the key. Okay, so we are calling that thing also. And in emit, what we are doing is, if we call a particular key with emit function, we want all the array, all the value for that particular key, but on those values, instead of returning that directly, instead of returning this callback array, we want to execute it as function, and then the result of that function we want to return. So technically it's actually really easy. It's just that those fancy words makes it a bit harder. Technically they are not fancy, they are really important for other context. So that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.